or the reason why Cynthia and I decided that we wanted to have this conversation is because Cynthia asked if I could hypnotize her. And the intention being is to get some clarity on some things that have been on your mind and on your heart, and that you've been praying for, meditating for, and you just are looking for that clarity. And we had this brief conversation of realizing that you and I do very similar things, if not the same thing, in that we work with healing tools, but we kind of talked about there's these two. One of the main differences between what you and I do, if I can reframe that conversation that we had, and this I thought was so interesting that you brought this up, was, you know, as a psychic medium, when you're channeling, someone's coming to you.
Right.
Someone's coming to you and they're asking for support. So they're coming to you and asking for support, and then you are channeling that support and offering that to them. Whereas, so they're kind of dependent on you in that way to receive that information for that session. Whereas for hypnosis, ideally, they are kind of transmitting it themselves. Like you become your own channel because you get out of your own way. You exit the mind of it. So you and I are doing very similar things with the channeling, the psychic medium work and hypnosis, and yet they are different. So people might be asking like, yeah, but Cynthia, you are a channel, like you have spirit telling you, hey, you might get in a car accident. So you put your seatbelt on and take extra precautions. So why is it that you need clarity? Like why go to another tool if you have this incredible tool? If I can be so bold as to ask the question.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of interesting because I do go into my own meditations, and I receive messages all the time. But this is really going to sound strange. When you're speaking to your own soul, my soul gives me the messages that I need to hear. It's really fascinating because it's similar to when I'm doing the reading. So when I sit down to do a reading, I don't ask for any questions. I don't want any questions. I want to know what soul has to say. I want to know, it isn't necessarily what you want to hear, it's what you need to know. It's what soul thinks you need to know, what spirit is saying as a priority. Well, so with the questions that I have, that I'm hoping for hypnosis to help me with, they're things that I want to know. So I could get into a real meditative state and ask those questions, and I do on occasion just ask questions rather than just listening to what spirit thinks that I need to know. But this is like there's a number of questions, and I really think that because I've not been hypnotized before, I think that this may even open up another place. So for instance, when I'm doing a reading, I go into what I call the abyss, the black abyss, and there's a particular room. It's like a location, and I go into the room, and then I wait for folks to come in and join me. But when I'm doing my channeling to my higher self, to my collective, my guides, I guess my guides is probably the best way to put it. It's a different location. It's entirely different. It's a deeper, it's a deep, really super deep trance that seems like, for me anyways, it seems like it's more of a reach than just going into, well, I shouldn't say just going into, but it's easier for me to get into, do a reading into the room than it is for me to go into reaching to my collective. I would have to say, you know, if you're talking about dimensions, I would say like a reading is in the fifth, and channeling for me would be, well, I've been told by my guides that's the eighth dimension. So in any case, I think that this this hypnotism is going to be a different location. And I want to experience that. And I want to see what kind of answers come from that location.
So
Isn't that, I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
yes, it does. It does make sense. It is a trance state. And I do believe that in hypnosis, we sit with the seat of the soul.
Yes.
I do believe that to be true, because it does, many times I have experienced what felt like channeling is not a world that I am well versed in by any means, but there have been times, if I can just describe it in this way, that what came through me did not feel like I was the source.
Yeah. Your person was not the source.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, my like May DV of Austin, Texas, in this time and space, like there was word choices that were used, phrasing, maybe even style of voice and how it came out was not of me, but through me. And yet it was a felt experience in my body. And so it was very transformative.
Woohoo. That's some deep work, babe. That's some deep work. You know, when it's like when you get to meet your soul, I mean, people, it blows my mind, you know, because when I'm channeling, when I'm with my collective, I have learned that that is my higher self. That is my true, authentic, divine, eternal soul. I mean, oh, what a gift. What an incredible gift that we have. And I'd say 98% of the people on the planet don't understand that that's who they really are. And to be able to tap into that, you go, girl. That's so awesome.
Oh,